Welcome to the Draft Stack. I'm here with Jordan. What's going on, man?
Not much. I'm just
Talking some
excited.
hoop.
Yeah. This is, the time of year that already the Mavs fans should be, joining in. So this is, Mavs fans, we are your podcast now. You don't need to watch the actual Mavs.
I think what's interesting, the season started, and I went through. This could kind of frame up. We're going to end up talking about Nate Aments, but I wanted to get to something before we started. So about, let's see, 32 players in the NCAA right now are averaging 24 or more points.
That's awesome.
It's pretty crazy. Obviously, their first games, there's going to be some variance. Some of those numbers, go down, and some come up a little bit more. But there's been a lot of impressive play to start, which is what you want from a college season. Now, funny enough, there were some people. This is going to frame this up, who did not like Nate's game.
Yeah,
but we're going to get to that.
I go back and forth on him. I think that some people are a little too high on him, but I think if some of the wildness was not said about him, everybody would love him as a prospect.
There we go.
Like he just shouldn't be compared to KD. Like just don't do that.
We've talked about this. It's a theme on our show. Don't set them up for high expectations beyond, don't give them Hall of Fame expectations before they get to play an NBA game.
Or even don't give them a Hall of Fame comp before they play a college game. Let
him play his game. Right, exactly. 215, 6'9".
Yeah. I mean, I really like him. He's got a lot of let's do his stats first. So per 40 stats on Cerebro. It's 24 points on 46% from the field, 39% from three, and free throw is 83%. That's really good. I mean, 59% true shooting is really actually basically 60% true shooting.
Yes.
Is really good. I mean, so there's nothing to worry about. He's 24 points. His rebounds are 12 per 40. Really good on rebounds. 3 assists, so nothing to write home about. It's also 3 turnovers. Nothing great, but he's got 2 steals and 3 blocks per 40. That's where, to me, the rebounding, the efficiency can get there.
Right.
But I don't see him breaking people down doing the contested dribbles.
No, because that's not his game. That's not his game at all. I think that's the problem. He is versatile on the scoring end, but I think he's more of off movement. And
he's a great shooter. It seems like the shooting touch is there.
Fluid. It's fluid. I don't think that his handle is where you can say
he is or anything like that.
Right. He's not a huge creator off the dribble as yet. And he's too slight a frame for post game at this point. All things that a specific scorer that's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer who's still playing, he should not have been compared to.
Yes.
So there's that. Now, the high release point is great. I think he's going to be good as a 3-point shooter, and I think some of that will be mid-range occasionally once he gets the handle up. Efficiency is, it's going to be what it is. He's a growing player. I think that's, a part of a player adding to his skill set and growing into being a professional, if that's the direction he's going to go. I don't think he's a one-and-done guy, in my opinion.
See, I think he's one and done. Ooh, that is a hot take. Because I didn't think he's one and done. I have him. Let me pull up my list because I want to make sure. Because yes, so on draft stack he's number 4. I have him 7. Like I still think he's solid top 10 guy.
Agree.
Borderline top 5. I could. So I do think that there is. Yeah, I would be shocked if he's not a one and done. Something has gone horribly wrong.
Now,
the only major concern that I have for him is, he chose to play for Rick Barnes at Tennessee. So, like, that's an automatic failed basketball IQ test. So, sorry, that's a bitter Texas fan still. Which is weird. I grew up, my dad is from Texarkana, so I had to root for both Texas and Arkansas. So some people consider that blasphemy, but that was, it was a house divided.
I mean, I think the thing is here, I have in my notes, can get lost in complex actions occasionally. Just off of, no, that's not just from one game. That's from us looking at like just the highs. We watch the tape. We don't just watch highlights. We watch the lowlights too. Got to cover both sides. So there's a little bit of just adding more IQ. I do think that his decision making could be improved, but he has all the tools for all this stuff to put themselves out.
And so the tools are what really intrigues me. And I'm really confused because everybody is like, was it Jonathan Givony or Wasserman that said that Wasserman said he had the highest potential in the class or something like that. And it's just like, whoa, like pump the brakes there. Like that seems weird, but also like potential to me is not his selling point. It's floor. That's his selling point.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The things that he just can do with his tools are very good. And he does seem to want to play defense. So with those tools, if you want to play defense, even if the offense never gets there, like we're talking about Tayshaun Prince.
I would say McDaniels just to temper it even further.
Yeah, but like, I mean, every team in the NBA right now would want Tayshaun Prince. Every team in the NBA would want Jaden McDaniels.
So
Dorian Finney-Smith. Every team in the NBA wants Dorian Finney-Smith.
Solid defender, doesn't take the ball out of your best player's hands.
Let's look at a higher end comp. If he does get higher end, Shawn Marion.
Which is not we might be going back a little bit too far for some people watching this. Hopefully some of them watching know who we're talking about.
I can't believe that Shawn Marion and Tayshaun Prince are too old of comps, but you're kind of right.
But I agree with the comps because I think both guys were what you would call a 5-tool kind of player. Could give you a little bit of offense. You don't need them to give you everything. I think Nate Aments got a little more offense than both of those guys. I think the defensive side of it, he has the tools. The frame is similar. I think he'll come into his body. Young. That's what happens with.
I do think that Shawn Marion specifically is maybe a little bit underrated on what his offense was. Especially as a passer. I think he's kind of actually much better on offense than people remember.
And he had a kind of a sweet floater that he used occasionally.
Yeah. And so Ament doesn't necessarily have the floater, but he does have a mid-range shot. So it's kind of like he can get to those in-between spots like Shawn Marion did. They're different shots when they get there, but they can get to them. And so I would say that Ament definitely skews more offensive than Dorian Finney-Smith. He's not just going to be sitting in the corner hoping for a three or, only on cuts. He's going to be able to create for himself a little bit. I do think that he's probably more in that Shawn Marion, Tayshaun Prince level of creating for himself than he would be even Brandon Ingram, Kevin Durant, those other comps that he's getting. So to me, I view him more of as a defensive prospect than an offensive prospect. But he's the difference between him. So like he is not the defensive prospect that Caleb Williams for UNC is right now.
Right.
That dude's a monster defender. The offense is scary. Is he even going to be good enough to get on the floor? The early signs at UNC are pretty encouraging. So maybe it was just in high school he didn't have good enough point guards to get him the ball. So So maybe Williams is actually better offensively than his high school tape showed. But the offense was scary, bad in high school. So you're getting someone who's a step lower on defense, but is so playable on offense,
right,
that he's going to be able to get more minutes.
right.
So even though they're both going to have the same role as a defensive wing, his offensive floor lets him play more minutes of that defensive wing than other players who are only defensive. So
right.
I think that the mold of 3-and-D, but also has a little bit more offensive juice than 3-and-D. So it's very much like Cedric Coward, where he can, create a little bit for himself, and he can do a little bit off the dribble and off the bounce. And so that gives you a higher upside. But
right.
the real selling point is the floor of a a 6'9" guy who tries that hard on defense.
Well,
and has those tools.
Well, funny enough, I mean, this is here down in the notes, man. Strengths, his ceiling, high level starting, stretch 4, secondary scorer. Improvement could be just physical, and again, that him adding to the physical tools he already has, just in strength and just like structure, will unlock this. We'll take the ceiling further, which I think is a pretty high ceiling. Anyway.
I also think that there's a little bit of stiffness in his game that NBA strength and conditioning does help with that.
Agreed.
A little bit. So I'm talking about actual mobility of his body, that even a college strength and conditioning program, I think, will help a little bit with.
Right.
So to me, there's a lot of untapped potential with him. But again, those super high end outcomes, I think, are like a 2%.
Right.
Likelihood for it. So it's like there's a 2% chance he's Kevin Durant. You don't draft him for the 2% chance that he's Kevin Durant. You draft him for the 75% chance he's Tayshaun Prince. And then you hope for that 2%. But the Tayshaun Prince is still extremely, that's what you're drafting him for. And you're like, it would be great if he could also become, the fourth greatest scorer in NBA history.
That's a tall order, which is why we've said it 1,000 times, temper the expectations. However, I think what's important to note is that and I've said, what's funny? I said this about a different prospect, and somebody got mad at me on Twitter, which I think that's an angry place sometimes. So that might just be people being angry. However, I said defense is what's going to get new prospects in the NBA on the floor. The offense, obviously, yes. Scoring helps. Putting the ball in the basket helps. Being able to do that in an efficient rate and within an offense helps. Great. Okay. Can you defend? Do you have defense? More teams have gotten so much bigger. This is not an NBA podcast. I'm just speaking about the state of prospects right now. Defense is faster. Can you fit in it? Can you get stops? Can you not, can you defend without fouling? Or are you a target on defense? Are you able to shuffle, move your feet? Do you have lateral quickness? Are you able to play within the schemes? Just all that stuff matters. So defense is what's going to get these guys on the floor and then keep them to get minutes.
And Rick Barnes is going to make you play defense. So, there is that plus there. Right. The problem is he might not help your offense grow. And so that's my worry with it. But, tier, we've talked about he's not in the same tier as those top 3. He's in that next tier down. Well, let's look at that next tier. Tounde, Yosufu.
That's who I have here.
If we're looking at floors, whose floor is higher? Tounde or Ament?
Ooh.
Ament's floor is higher. His floor is higher. Jaden Quinton's and Nate Ament. Whose floor is higher?
It's going to be Ament.
It's Ament. It's clearly Ament. If Mikal Brown Jr. and Nate Ament, it's Nate Ament. The other one I have in the tier is Koa Pete. It's clearly Nate Ament. So out of that next tier, he is the safest pick out of that next tier.
Right.
To me, the selling point for Ament is the safety, not the potential.
Now, could Caleb make an argument and change that?
Yes.
Yes.
I think Caleb. So I have Caleb in the next tier with Caden Bouger, Todd Pettiford, Darius Acuff, Dash Daniels, Yaxel Lindenberg. That's my next tier. But and obviously these tiers are all very fluid at this point of the year.
Absolutely.
But to me, Ament does he does things that will keep him on the floor.
Right. That's the whole point.
Than these other guys. Exactly. So like Mikael Brown, the worry with him right now is he's just not gone into the paint. Like he's
not looking for a shot in there at all.
He's not. So like Nate Aments is able to get into the paint, even as a big, as someone who's not handling the ball very much. He's able to get into the paint. You know, Koa Pete, the worry is he can't shoot. Ament can shoot. You know, you got Quittance doesn't have any handle. You know, is really he's just a big. He's just a drop off big for right now, and he's got some passing chops. And he's got some other things that he can do on offense. But you know, he's purely a defensive guy. Right. Ament plays both sides.
Two-way guys. I mean, that's the name of the game, right? So
every team in the league wants a two-way guy who can guard 2 through 4.
At least
he can guard 2 through 4. He can at least guard 2 through 4. I think there's a chance he's going to be able to guard some 5s. Not like he's not going to be able to do Jokic or
no
Embiid level guys. But
those are rare. There are rare guys.
You're not going to put him on Wemby. You're not going to put him on Wemby. But there's some that he's going to be, and I think even some, like if you're playing the Lakers, you could put him on Luka. I mean, he's not going to slow him down any more than anybody else, but the height is going to help, So SGA, I could see him trying to guard, SGA. Again, I'm not saying it's going to go well, especially as a rookie. It's not going to go. But yeah, like as far as like build wise, there are some ones and there are some 5s that he can guard, and then he can guard 2 through 4.
Yes.
Like to me, build wise, he's incredibly versatile on defense, and he's got the stats to back it up so far. And the offense is playable. It's to me, the offense is not like, hey, he's amazing. He looks like the next Kevin Durant. I don't see that. But his offense is good enough that you unlock the defense. And that's the skill. So like right now, when Tari Eason is not doing a great job on offense, you have to sit one of him or Amin Thompson if both of them aren't clicking on offense.
Right.
And it doesn't have that kind of concern because he's going to be playable on offense. And then, so you get his defense the whole time because he's playable on offense. So I just there's something to me that's comforting about that kind of a prospect. Right.
And so here's the thing. Here's where I'm at with him. Say he doesn't add any weight, right? Like he's just maybe that's the aspect of Kevin Durant. He's like he just doesn't.
That's the kind of
frame that much, right? If all he does is add core strength and hip strength, that is going to solidify him as a really good defender. Now, that's not the only thing. Hip strength, as in his ability to use his hips on defense and move them, and also the ability to stand in the post. A lot of post defense is in the hips. A lot of guys get beat because they get put under the basket because they have no hip strength, or the hip strength is minimal. With him and his size and all the tools that he has, those are the really two things that would make what I think is solid defense, incredible defense. I do think he's able to use his size well.
And let's look at it the other way. Maybe the defense doesn't work out as much. but his defense is always going to me to be good enough to have out there if the offense is what works out.
Right.
So he suddenly becomes, if he is more offense oriented instead of defense oriented, we're looking more at a Kelly Oubre.
Who's so not a bad player? Who's
that's an incredibly exactly, and honestly can fit on almost any team in the league.
Yep,
is gonna want a Kelly Oubre. So we're seeing someone who has this, or even if we want to do higher end than Kelly Oubre, he's Chris Middleton.
I mean, these are the kinds of not totally there yet because Chris had some years.
Chris is he was like 50% or 45% from three. Like he can get super hot.
But that's why I said McDaniels. That to me, his and someone might think that's a slight for a prospect. I don't know if anybody's been watching Minnesota, but McDaniels is an incredible defender, and he does provide them offense within the flow of their offense when needed. So to me, the idea that would be any kind of slight, I hope people are take a look at their games and see how he could really just add elements of what McDaniels does on the floor for the Timberwolves to his game, solidifying the shooting, tightening up core.
And the reason I'm talking about his floor being so high is if his defense never improves, that's still playable defense from right now.
Right, exactly.
If his offense never improves, that's still playable offense from right now. So if one of those things really improves, you've suddenly got a very good player.
Right.
And so the floor is very high. The ceiling is also high, but it's just it's a little unrealistic to expect that ceiling.
Right.
But anything from the floor up is a good player.
I agree.
So I really I kind of disagree with you on him maybe not being a one and done. I think he's a one and done. He is the position in the league.
He's not. If he's a one and done, that's fine.
He's just with his position, being also able to guard 2 through 4, so you can put him anywhere in that lineup. I just think that the versatility is GMs love that versatility. I would be a little shocked if he's not a one and done.
I agree.
Something would have to go horribly wrong, but it is Rick Barnes, so I wouldn't throw it out of the possibility.
More shots at Rick Barnes. The funny thing is, I think he's going to string along some consistency throughout the season, and that's what's going to keep him at 4. Just the ability. Now, obviously, there's 2 ways this can go. I don't want to project too far. The NCAA season just started, so I'm not going to go too crazy here. However, March is when the board can shuffle a lot. Now, when I say shuffle, I'm talking about 4 down. I'm not talking about 1 through 3. I'm gonna add that as a caveat. I'm not talking about 1 through 3. Whatever is up there is getting picked in those positions, whichever way it goes. That it could be variable on who's 1, 2, and 3, but they're all going to be top 3. There's no doubt about that. We've talked about it. But 4 down is variable once March hits. Some guys can move themselves off the board having a good tourney, or the stretch of a season has been such a good sample size for some players, it doesn't even matter. It's happened. However, I think with this talent, this season, and the type of the way the board is slated, I do think if Nate is able to put some consistency to his game overall on both sides of the floor, and he's able to elevate his team just on what he gives them on both sides, then there's no doubt in my mind he goes 4th. No doubt. Absolutely no doubt. I mean, I think the challenge is just putting it all together and just making it a fluid process for himself. That's really it. There's not a guy beneath him that I think is going to eclipse him unless they have an extremely exceptional season and he just kind of plateaus. That's really what it comes down to at this point.
Yeah.
So, he's
got
a high upside swing, but
yeah. Do you want to talk about our guys that we wanted to hit for
Absolutely.
for the first game.
Absolutely.
So I am going to start with actually what some people talked about was a kind of a disappointing first game. I'm going to talk about Cam Boozer. Cam Boozer had probably his worst like scoring night in like 3 years. He was let me see. Yeah, 3 for 12.
Okay.
Didn't 0 for 4 from 3. And yet he still scored 15 points, had 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block. He just, it doesn't matter. Even when he's bad, he's good.
Like winning. Yeah.
He affects games in ways that other guys don't.
That's it. And there's a reason he's in the top 3. If you're not having a great night, teams are looking to see how can you contribute, because those nights come. So for him not to, instead to still be able to impact it statistically and effort-wise, because that's one thing you don't have to worry about with him is effort. He plays like his dad didn't play for the NBA at any point. That's how he plays. And so with that kind of hunger from a guy who has all the resources, all the access to improving his game in a first game, to not have a great game, what most people would consider wouldn't be a great game for him, his response is still rebounding. Rebounds win games, and still being able to get to the line. And so those are some of the things that teams are going to look at and say, there's no reason for us to not pick this guy out of the top 3. There's no reason. He's solid. He's steady. He doesn't get wavered or rattled. Those are the kind of like intangibles that teams are looking for. And as a freshman, might I add.
Yeah.
So I'm impressed with him. I just think any team that ends up drafting him, we're not there yet. Kyle. But any team that drafts him is getting an absolute like stud. Out of a player. Yeah.
So the next guy that I had was Haynes Steinbach. Who, did you know that he's from the same city as Dirk and Maxi Kleber?
No shock. Shock.
What do they feed them in this city? It's like the city's like 120,000 people.
No shock there.
Like
the skill.
Like, what are they feeding these people?
The skill it's there in Serbia. Don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I guess. Like, so his first game was amazing. That being said, it was against Arkansas Pine Bluff. No shade to all of my friends who live in Pine Bluff, of which I actually do have several friends who live in Pine Bluff. So no shade to you guys. But, it's not stiff competition. Sure. And he was a lot worse against Denver. Not that he was bad against Denver, but it just, it was not.
Was it what?
Yeah. So, his first game, he had, it was 80. So he was 9 of 11 for 21 points. He made his only 3 he took. He was 2 for 3 on the free throw line, but he had 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and a steal. So he was just kind of doing a little bit of everything as a big man, and that's one thing that I misunderstood. Thought he was like a 3-4. I think he's maybe even a 5-4.
He's so skilled. He is so skilled.
But I think like actually watching him play, he's much taller than I thought he was.
Oh yeah.
So I thought that he was closer. So he's listed at 6'11", and when I was watching him before, I kind of thought that was fake, and I was thinking he was closer to like 6'7" than 6'11". I think now that I'm watching him like actually play again and really watching him closer, I think that he probably is closer to 6'11".
It might be 7 foot by the end of the season.
Yeah. And then the second game against Denver was still pretty good. It was 5 of 12 shooting, so it was not as near, as efficient. He didn't take a 3. And it was 3 of 5 from the free throw line. So that's something to watch. Is the free throw shooting is not, incredible yet. but he had 7 offensive rebounds and 9 defensive rebounds.
Man, listen.
You know, and then he also threw in 4 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks. Like,
He's just fingerprints.
Yeah, he just does things all over the court. So right now he's averaging, 17 a game, 17, 12, and 5 with a block and a steal a game.
Which I think are impeccable numbers for a freshman.
Yes.
Granted,
Granted,
he played pro, so I don't want to sit here and act like this is just some freshman. No, we are aware we potted on him. I'm just stating it is good numbers for him to have. And if he's able to stabilize at 17 and 12 for the season and then kind of make, some noise later down the line, that the steadiness of a game, I think that's the kind of player he is. He's steady. He doesn't play outside of himself. He tries to make smart reads with the ball. He doesn't try to do too much off the dribble. And not that he can't dribble. It's more of like, let me get to this spot. Let me get here. This is an efficient spot. Oh, I don't have anything here. I'm going to pass the ball. He's very methodical in his skill set and his ability to make sensible moves with the ball and impact winning on the defensive and obviously offensive board. So those are he's an impressive player, man. I'm not surprised he's from the same place.
Yeah. So I think I lost you for a little bit, but I'm back now. I think, African internet. So my last guy that I want to talk about, to shout out, which leads into your first guy you want to shout out. So my last guy I want to shout out is Malik Thomas. And can I just say, woo pig suey. Right here. Like, dude, I came into this year thinking like Thomas is not going to be a one and done. I was like, I'm pumping the brakes. I'm thinking, for one, I was like, there's no way he's actually 6'5". He's 6'5". I was like, he's not capable of being a point guard. He's showing that he can do the combo guard thing where he is legit combo guard, both on and off ball. He had a great first game where it was, he was 7 of 15 from the field, 4 of 10 from 3-point range, and he was 3 of 4 from the free throw line. He had 6 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 steals. So 21 points. Like, I mean, dude was on fire. Yes. I mean, he had a game and a half. So my comp for him going into this year, because again, I thought he was shorter. I thought he was kind of lying about the height. He does look like he might be, I don't think he's actually 6'5". He might be more like 6'4". So my comp had been that he was Jason Terry. He's taller than that.
Yes,
so that defensively opens up more options.
Agreed.
There are some threes that he's going to be able to guard in the league. Not many, but there are some threes that he's going to be able to guard.
Right.
So I've been very pleasantly surprised with him so far this year. So
that leads right into Darius Acuff Jr.
Oh, dude.
What's there to say that probably hasn't been said everywhere? Steady player, high IQ player. If that's going to be their backcourt, look out. That's all I'll say about that. Both are averaging 20, 21, and 22 points per game, respectively. Darius had for his first game, he 22 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block. He shot 61.5 from the field, 60% from 3, and 100% from the free throw line.
Yeah.
He's dynamic. He's solid at 6'2". He might be closer to 6'3" if I'm not correct. And so he's versatile, just plays with pace. He is 3-level, can shoot from deep, does have the ability to be efficient, as I just listed it off. And he competes defensively, both on and off the ball. I'm excited to see the next 5 games. Rebounding he's aggressive. He plays with a chip on his shoulder for sure.
Yeah.
Has a high basketball IQ, as I've stated. I'm reiterating that. Just plays with an intensity, a quiet intensity. Dangerous in transition, very fast off the push, can push pace. And so his intangible, he's got the grit, he's got confidence, plays with high competitiveness. And so I'm excited to see what this season looks like for him overall, and what this backcourt looks like overall. I do wonder about them as a tandem. Similarly to, I mean, obviously Arkansas is a much different program than Rutgers.
Yeah.
Talking about having two guys who do a lot.
I think they complement each other a little bit more.
Yeah.
In that they both also do enjoy getting assists. Like
right.
Both Ace and Dylan assists were afterthoughts for them.
Right.
So
these guys do both. And we're talking about Malik Thomas and Darius Acup Jr. For anybody who just hopped on. They both have dynamic ability to score and facilitate. It's what you want in your backcourt.
Can I add one more guy?
Please.
That I want to shout out. Because I want to add him so that we don't get clipped right at the end. I want to make it harder. Look, if Koa Pete keeps playing like Charles Barkley, he's going to be the number one pick in this draft.
Amen.
So that's all I'm saying, dude. Dude was incredible the opening night. Sorry you had to watch that.
I mean, listen, I'm just excited that he's playing with the kind of force we always thought he could play with. And he is.
But aren't you more UCF than Florida?
I mean, I'm a UCF, but there's nothing going on down there.
Gotcha.
There's nothing going on down there. But I would say that my second guy is Tunde, actually, if I'm correct.
Yeah, dude.
Another guy.
He's fun. He's fun to watch. I am liking this is a little off topic. I am liking that he's at least trying to look like he's not cosplaying Anthony Edwards now. So like when he was like the same haircut, the same shooting sleeves, the same like it was just like, okay, dude, like so you can be yourself. And so I just want to shout him out for that.
Well, it's 24 points per game at the moment, tied for 32nd. Again, guys, so many players are averaging 20 right now across the country. 7 rebounds. He's 62.5% on the field for this is one sample. It's one game. If he's able to hover around 60% on the field goal percentage for a season, we're going to have some conversations. So the free throws are, kind of tricky still, but he shot 40% from the 3-point line, 1 assist, 1 steal. The fouls were at 3. I think he could bring that down. And he's not the kind of guy that's looking to really pass that much. It's not really his role. However, I do think he plays with a kind of force that you want out of a player. He plays with a lot of edge. I don't know that I want him playing small forward in the league, even though he does have the physical tools to do so.
Mm-hmm.
I think he could be used as a combo, or depends on the matchup. I'm not going to get too ahead of myself.
Yeah.
High energy. He is disruptive. His motor is high. I mean, he plays with a lot of force, a lot of grit. He's more of a slasher kind of archetype than anything else, which is what the percentage states. He did shoot 40% from 3. Obviously, to me right here, I have, his ceiling is an all defensive wing with the ability to play in transition, and get out on the floor and finish above the rim. And then I also think that his jump shot is going to extend. If he can consistently shoot the ball that way, then he'll absolutely be able to expand his game and create open lanes for himself, because he is somebody who likes to put pressure on the rim. So what say you?
I like Tunde. He's going to be our main focus probably for the next pod. So I don't want to get too far ahead.
Right.
There's a lot to like with his archetype.
Mm-hmm.
As a fellow, resident of Western Africa, which Cameroon's kind of more Central Africa, but I'll take it. You know, so I'm a fan. Always like when people from my part of Africa go off in NBA. So I'm a huge fan. The Gambia is too small to really have any like NBA players, so I got to root for the whole region. So yeah, I like him. Well, I'll have more to say next week after the deep dive.
Yeah.
But so I'm trying not to step over all the toes of that one. But I do really like him.
My last guy is probably going to be overlooked a little bit, and that's why I picked him. And that is Keaton Wagler, actually.
I don't even have him ranked on my big board.
And
I've not done any scouting for him. I'm going to let you cook. I'm going to let you cook.
6'6", 180 pounds. He is a spacer. He can shoot the ball. He is absolutely, like, I'm not saying that's all he can do, but he absolutely can shoot the ball. His first game, it's not gaudy numbers, but I just want people to see the vision here. 18 points, 2 steals, 4 assists, 6 rebounds, shot 100% from 3. I think on 4 or 5 attempts, and 5 attempts made. 50. I think he shot 50%. He shot 50% from the field goal range entirely, and he shot 80% from the free throw line. Now, granted, this was against, and this I'm not take anybody who's attended there, please don't take this as an offense. He's playing against Jackson State.
He's playing for. Did you mention? No,
he's playing for Illinois. The Illinois Fighting Illinois. So,
since we didn't mention that earlier.
Yeah. Can he stay at 18, 6, and 4? To be seen. Yeah. But he was the kind of player in high school who won big games, played big games. And so I do think as a guard, I'm intrigued to see if he's able to string some of these games together over time. And if the 3-point shooting can stick, I'm not saying he's going to shoot 100% for the entire season. No. But if he can hover around 45 to 50% for the season on 3, which the mechanics and the way he gets his shots and the way he spaces himself and the shot prep that he takes to getting his shots, absolutely a possibility that Keaton Wagler could end up on somebody's board eventually. Yeah, it's a lot of talent on the board, so I don't want to get ahead of myself. It's one game, but he's the kind of player who I think if he's able to start getting hot, he's able to make some shots. He does have a team around him, obviously. He is a freshman. But I do think that being able to take and make shots and the premium is really what you want out of a guard. And he's 6'6". I do think that over the season, we're going to see kind of, if I had to give him not really a comp, not giving any comps for him yet, but just somebody comparison to as far as role, possibly similar to Christian Anderson from Texas. Just being able to space the floor, does have the ability to handle the ball a little bit and make a few decisions with.
He's taller. He's taller than Anderson.
Right. And so if you haven't seen any of his game yet, take a look at it. I was able to get some of his highlights. Again, I think he's so under the radar. Nobody has him. Maybe nobody has him on a board right now. But I was looking through just players that have been able to put their names on the scoring side of things, and he's again 18 out of he's plus. There's 150 players that are averaging 18 and above. One of them in the country. There's a lot of people. So, for him to put himself there and on a team as a freshman I think the Fighting Illinois needed a shooter to space the floor for them. So I'm excited about him. I hope that he's able to string these games together. But did you have another guy that you wanted to touch on?
No, I threw Koa in earlier so that I didn't get, flamed for that being the last thing I said on the board.
I mean, here's the thing. I am excited for all these players to string it along. I would say if I had to throw anybody else in there, and this is not a freshman, but I did mention him. Christian Anderson is currently averaging 34 points per game. It's off of one game. But I'm just gonna say the way that he played last season, and now his frame is filled out a little bit more. He's able to string some things along. We saw him during FIBA. I think he's going to have a really good season.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. Since we're at the end of the pod, just totally get you flustered at the end of the pod. People are already declaring Darren Peterson the best guard prospect in the last decade.
Okay.
That being said, when you look back at the guards this decade, it's not a great list. So, like, on the one hand, it feels like absolutely insane, but then you're like actually going down the list and you're like, actually, like, it's Cade, Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, Luka, and that's kind of it for guard prospects as far as that were viewed at this level.
I want people to temper, it might end up being something that we do over here. I want people to temper their expectations. I just people. Do you know who's been drafted in the last decade? Let's just go over the last 5 years. Let's just go over the last 5 years.
Let's do it.
Devin Booker
as a prospect, that's the difference. Because Booker was what, 13th in that class?
Yes. I mean, don't get me started on, as a Heat fan, don't get me started that we picked Justice Winslow over Devin Booker, please. It just pisses me off every time. But I will say this. I think that he is the most, I'm not going to say the most talented. I think he's talented. The most talented is setting him up for failure, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I do think he is the most offensively sound prospect in the last decade. Offensively, there is such a smoothness and poise to his game that you don't expect from a freshman.
Yes. So I would say if we were in a different decade, that might be more of a hot take. Because like at first I was like, there's no way. And I immediately started like looking it up and I was just like, so there's Luka and Trey. There's Cade. There's Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball. But Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball were like that COVID year where everything was wild and like there was all the questions about LaMelo, all the questions about Anthony Edwards, which he answered. We're still waiting for LaMelo to answer some of his questions, but Anthony Edwards kind of answered his questions. But like, there's the whole thing about like he basically said, I don't like basketball right before the draft with Anthony Edwards. Like, so like there's all of, Cade was good. Cade's the one you're comparing him to. Luka had people who said that he shouldn't even be a first rounder. And then you've got, Trae Young. People made a big deal about Trae Young was just a stats guy, just stealing stats, and he didn't actually affect winning and all this stuff. So
I don't mean to interrupt you. I just want to interject. Tyrese Halliburton is another player in the last decade.
But he was 10th. He was 10th. And he was not viewed as like that wasn't like an insane drop.
He got picked 12th.
Or 12th, 12th. The 12th,
and,
so I thought it was 10th, but
yeah, I don't know, man. I want to
obviously once they get to the league, things are very different. Like you would obviously now be like, like obviously Devin Booker.
Now I heard some people said since Kobe, and I was like,
okay, that's ridiculous. Like,
what basketball have you been watching?
There was this guy named Dwayne Wade between Kobe and there's this guy named Russell Westbrook. There was this guy named Derrick Rose. There was this guy, okay, like
I want us to let him let him play 10 games.
Yes.
Some of these insane takes on a top 3 draft pick.
Now that being said, watching him play, you just want to say insane things watching him play. He is that kind of player.
I just think some of that is just letting it breathe a little bit and letting it come. Let the games come. Let the games happen. If at game 20, he's averaging 30 plus and averaging a bunch of assists, and I
don't think he's going to be averaging 30 plus by game 20 because there's pre-conference schedule is not terribly hard. So I don't think he's going to play enough to average 30 because I think there's going to be some blowouts.
I just want people to relax a little bit. I think he's a very talented player. I think he's in the top 3 for a reason. I do believe that all the skill set is there.
I've gotten to the point where I think it's a top 2 now. I think it's him and Cam, and then I think AJ is a tier by himself.
Now, Nick will agree with you. I still think it's a top 3. And the reason I still think it's a top 3 is because AJ does some things athletically that the other 2 don't do per se. He just there's a gentle lull to his game, and then he's gone. He moves.
The body type is also, there's a reason that everyone wants that body type.
He's 6'9", and he moves with such precision.
He's an actual shooting guard at 6'9".
He does what he's supposed to do with the ball. Does he have wrinkles to his game? Yeah, I mean, any player is going.
They all have wrinkles that they've got to work on,
right?
But
I out of the gate, again, there's people are going to get sick of me saying this, so I apologize in advance. The top 3 is the top 3 for a reason.
Yes.
There's no losses up there. I'm knocking on wood, hoping for all health and great seasons for all 3 guys and everybody else who's going to be talked about over this NCAA season. And I hope that the board is insane to put together because so many guys are able to showcase their talents and put it together. That'd be great. But the top 3 is what it is for a reason. And any of those guys are going to give any team that drafts them an exceptional opportunity to round out a player who already has a high ceiling and high floor.
Yeah.
My point is, at the end of the day, I used to say this on Intangible IQs, but let's be mindful about the game here, folks. Let's be mindful. Be mindful. Let's take it easy and be smart about how we approach all of this, because it's important to temper the expectations and let these guys play their games. And once they're able to make, I'm so sorry.
I lose you. Oh no. I don't know if this is my internet messing up or yours.
It was me. It was me.
Oh, okay.
I'm so sorry about that. For those watching, I had a call coming through, and it's my wife. So there's no D&D for her. The point of the matter is, I just temper the expectations. I think there's a lot of talent in this draft class, and I do think that based on what I said, for those who just joined, 100 plus players are averaging 20 points per game to start this NCAA season.
Yeah.
It just lets me know everybody is ready to play and give their best efforts and put together incredible seasons that make it tough for GMs, for us who scout, for others who scout, and guys who, a lot of good matchups are coming. I'm excited to see some of the top 5, top 10 match up against each other, and that'll cause even more utterly insane takes. So for those of you who hung out with us for all 54 minutes of this pod, we appreciate you. We've got another episode coming really, really soon. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We just love the game. We love hoops. So we'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.
Peace.